And we're back, baby. Fourth and Football Podcast. Here I am, Jacob.
Wyatt.
We're back, baby. Just in time to talk playoff football. All right, Wyatt, get us into it. Let's dive right into it.
I mean, it's been a great playoff. I mean, I think the biggest story is going to be Jaden Daniels.
Jaden Daniels.
Oh, my gosh.
Did you imagine this?
We said, we thought they'd be a sneaker maybe to get into the playoffs, but
we alluded to like a dark horse for the division winner. They didn't win the division, but I
think last episode I said Jaden Daniels should win MVP.
That was kind of crazy to hear, but seeing as he's playing,
it's a little late for him to get the MVP, but he's one game from the Super Bowl.
If it was voted on throughout the whole playoffs included, man, I wish it was, because then you would really see. I feel like it should be, though. Do you not feel like it should be like that?
I really do.
Because the most important games, the biggest players show up.
I feel like the NBA should be the same way, too.
Yeah. And there's a controversy like Lamar should be regular season MVP again. Then you see this game last week with the Bills and the Ravens, right? You see the game, and then you see Josh Allen do what he does. It wasn't spectacular, it wasn't shining, but he won the game, and I think he solidified possibly the MVP.
Josh Allen for MVP, yeah. But, games we got coming up, the Chiefs, they escape another game, how they always do.
That one was near and dear to my heart. You were there with me. It really broke my heart. I was not the same the whole night after the game.
You didn't even care about the Commanders game.
No.
We just saw crazy history happen with that game, and you were like, fuck, the Texans lost. I don't care.
It's just the way they lost, man. Piss poor old line blocking. Special teams, Kaimi Fairbairn. I was so disappointed.
The last episode we were talking about kickers that just don't miss this season, and it was Tucker, Aubrey, and Kaimi Fairbairn.
Kaimi. A wise man once told me, never trust a kicker. Never trust a kicker. Shout out Brandon.
We saw it with Notre Dame too.
Yeah, it's just crazy. And if special teams goes a different way that way, they're still in the game. But I do kind of want to touch on the controversial calls in the Chiefs game.
Yeah,
we had talked about this earlier.
We had talked about it, I think, from the third episode of the podcast all the way to the last one we did. We talked about it every single episode. And
I hate to be, I always hated to talk about penalties because it takes away from everything the Chiefs did right? They did a lot of things right, and they just didn't do anything wrong. They didn't lose the game. But the flopping by Mahomes, there's no room for that in a contact sport.
Oh, and for the Chiefs fans, who are like, hey, we don't complain about the refs when our calls don't go our way. Remember when Mahomes lost to Josh Allen?
Yeah, he was crying.
What did he say at the handshake? It's the worst call I've ever seen, man.
I've ever seen, man.
You got to let us play football.
You got to let him play.
You got to let us play football. What the fuck happened to that, Patrick?
Yeah. I saw a 2-minute clip of all the Chiefs players at one point in their career complaining about the referees. Look, man, you're emotional in those times. You're going to complain, but I feel like the Texans are justified. You can say I'm biased as a Texans fan, but this is ridiculous. We all see it.
Aikman was calling it out at the broadcast.
Shout out to Troy Aikman.
Man.
At some point, he just said, "This enough is enough."
Someone had to have the balls to just say it, man. This is ridiculous.
Stephen A. Smith, Shannon Sharp, they're all talking about it.
All the experts are saying
all the cucks like Colin Cowherd and them. They're avoiding it because they're saying the Chiefs are just that great. This is not the NBA.
No,
this isn't a draw penalty league. This is not what it is. This is a contact sport, and people get injured, and rules are made to keep people from being injured. But when you're bending those rules to benefit for penalties of the game that change the game on third down, critical third down stops, come on, man.
I say fuck it. Bring CTE back to football.
Bring CTE back to football. It was better when Antonio Brown was getting lit up across the middle.
It was exciting.
It was a man's sport still. Like, in all seriousness, I want the players to be healthy, but something has to be done. I think Rich Eisen said it best, buddy, when he said, look, there has to be, in the time that a 15-yard penalty is thrown, in the time they throw the penalty and then they walk up to call the penalty, that's plenty enough time for New York to review it and come down to them and be like, hey, pick that flag up. We're not doing that. That's not that. And that's. I think that's the answer. I think that's a correct
100%. You can review almost every foul in the NBA.
Yeah.
I think at this point they almost review everything. I feel like, anyways.
They changed it so quick. The overtime rule a couple years back in the playoffs. They changed it like it was nothing because it was good TV. They're like, we're missing out on good TV. Well, what you're putting out there right now is not good TV. It's a piss poor product when you do stuff like that and you allow it in your league.
The fake football, Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift, they are going to love it, of course. Real football fans,
Chiefs are back
we hate it.
Back where they need to be.
I don't care what the Chiefs fans say. Look, I'm not saying they only won because of the refs. No. 8 sacks is going to lose you the game.
Yeah.
It's the time when the penalties are thrown. Big third downs to get you first downs, and then you go score. Yes. And it's not just this game. We saw it.
It's all year. It was all year. It was all years. Last year as well.
Remember the Bengals game when it got called, and that's when it started. And since then, now it's
the Ravens game too. When Lamar, he could have still won the game, and Isaiah likely stepped out at the end of the game.
Yeah,
but there was penalties there on Mahomes that kept them in the game. It always seems to go towards their favor, and maybe it is the players being smart enough with the NBA an attitude, being like, "Hey, we can bend these rules, into our favor." But that shouldn't be how the game is played. This is a full contact sport. You know what I mean?
But you know who's not going to get into those, and who's just going to run someone over? Josh Allen.
Josh fucking Allen.
Who beat the Chiefs this year?
Josh Allen.
Allen.
He is not beating Mahomes or the Chiefs in the playoffs.
Yeah.
You think he's going to be able to get over the hump this year and do it?
It's in Arrowhead.
It's in Arrowhead. It's always in Arrowhead. What does Nick Wright say? Arrowhead Invitational.
I know last year it was in Buffalo, and they got the job done last year in Buffalo. Or was it the year before? It was one of these 2 years they had to play him in Buffalo.
Josh Allen's never beat him in the playoffs. He's 0-3.
Yeah, if he couldn't beat him at home, it's going to be so hard.
I think this Bills team is different, though. I think they've adapted the playoff mindset of the Chiefs, how they're going to let the opponent lose the game for themselves.
Yeah, I can see that, but
don't turn the ball over.
As much as I hate the Chiefs, as much as I hate the refs, Mahomes does not lose.
I will say that. I mean, he does make all the right plays, but I would argue, if you can stop Travis Kelce and shut down the zone, because that's all they're doing. If you notice against the Texans, they didn't throw to those shut down corners. They didn't. They were scared to. They dink and doinked all the way down the field when they had to, and they would hit Kelce when he hit settle in the middle.
Yeah.
Because you can only do so much. You can man up, or they played man the first time in the regular season, the Texans did versus Chiefs, and then they played a little bit of zone here.
I think you got to run a little bit of a man zone. You can run a zone with certain players, but almost how we see a QB spy with Lamar, run that same sort of look, but have him spy on Kelce.
But the thing is, it's like, do you spy on Mahomes and Kelce? Because you have to choose one or the other.
Just Kelce.
I think
this D line's good enough.
I think the best answer I've seen to it now, he doesn't do it every game, but he's done it successfully. We've seen it with Devin White and Travis Kelce, and then Derwin James always has a really good answer. Now, Travis Kelce still does make plays, but he takes them out about half of the game.
Yeah. The player I think that can do that for the Bills, Tremaine Edmonds. You got a big athletic guy who can just mirror him all over the field. You have a zone, run him into the flats.
Is it fair to say if Josh Allen doesn't beat himself, he's unstoppable? Because, I picked these guys to go sneak into the divisional and win it and possibly go to the AFC Championship, right?
Yeah.
I feel like Josh Allen has matured to such a spot in his quarterback career, in his career in the NFL, that he's unstoppable. He's not giving the ball up. Of course, everybody's going to have turnovers, but he's not making the stupid plays. He cut him out this season. He cut him out by like over 50%. He's just unstoppable. Beautiful football.
I think that's what we said at the beginning of the year. If Josh Allen cuts down turnovers, it's going to be the only chance he has to beat Mahomes. Yeah. He's done that through the season, and he beat Mahomes this season. Was that game in Buffalo or in Kansas City?
That game was, I believe it was in Kansas City. I could be mistaken.
He's already beat him in Kansas City this year.
I think it was in Kansas City. I might be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. Either way, Chiefs fans follow everywhere.
Look, I want the Bills to win. I'm cheering, like 80% of the world's cheering for Josh Allen to finally get rid of this crybaby quarterback.
Yeah, and it's such a detriment to Mahomes' legacy, isn't it? You were speaking about that.
I was saying it watching the game. I was like, man, Mahomes is an all-time great, and it's getting ruined from all this bullshit with the refs. If it wasn't
with the refs,
man.
And I saw Shannon Sharp, Colin Cowherd, they printed the rule out and said they're supposed to call it. That's just the rule. If you're winning doubt when the quarterback is hit, you got to call it. I get it, but fuck that, dude.
Man,
I mean, that's just complete bullshit. We can see it at home. Everybody can see it on replay. It's the wrong call.
Yeah.
It can be reversed. It's just the wrong thing.
But, I mean, I'm cheering for the Bills, but I always look on who do I think is going to win by who would I put money on to win this game.
Yeah.
And I'd put money on the Chiefs to win
on
this
Mahomes.
game.
I mean, I don't blame you. They do it time and time again.
It's almost like Tom Brady. I never ever said, "Oh, Tom Brady's losing. Tom Brady's losing." Never been.
And I will
Tom
say,
Brady.
I don't know if the Bills' defense, they play great all year. Don't get me wrong. I don't think they are the Texans' defense, and the Texans' defense only made a couple mistakes and they lost the game.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
No, I get it. I do think the Bills' offense though is better than the Texans'
100% better.
Yeah,
you just can't. There's no answer for Josh Allen.
No,
you get Ray Davis, you get James Cook, you get Ty Johnson. These guys are running the hell out of the ball.
Which, so did Joe Mixon.
Showed Joe Mixon, but not to that degree. Plus, you got Josh Allen on top.
True.
It's not the same. CJ started to use his legs towards the end because he knew this is what big players do.
CJ should have played like that all year.
All the year.
Last 2 games we've seen.
My boy needs to learn how to slide before he continues to do so because he's going to get hurt.
He needs to see how to pick up a blitz, too.
Yeah. I would say that there's one facet of his game he has not developed completely. He started to a little bit in the second half of the season, but he's got to communicate and pick up blitzes better and read the safeties better.
The Bills have an O-line.
They do.
That's what killed the Texans.
Yeah, they have a
Texans
real
had no O-line. They have an O-line.
They have some guys, some veterans that's been there. Shakir has stepped up immensely. You can still hit Keon Coleman. Dalton Kincaid's hit or miss, but we'll see. But with that run game, you're not going to leave it in the Chiefs' hands, I believe.
And you still have Amari Cooper. I mean, I get he hasn't got much work lately, but I mean,
he's still Amari Cooper.
He's still
a true number 1 in this league.
We've seen him some games for the Bills this season.
The way they play offense right now just doesn't call for him to be.
But I feel like
facet of the game.
You run man to man. You need one guy to go get open. I think they're still going to call.
And they're incorporating Curtis Samuel, whose career was dead, and then he catches a bomb in the division or the wild card versus the Broncos. Come on, man, they got some weapons. They're not to be slept on.
But my final pick, I'm just going to take Mahomes and the Chiefs by a field goal.
By a field goal?
At the end of the game.
Back to the Super Bowl.
They're going to kick a field goal, and they're going to go back to the Super Bowl.
You know what? I wish I could say you were crazy. I wish I could say you're bananas, but we've seen it time and time again. I don't blame you. But I'm taking the Bills. Bills Mafia.
So.
I'm riding with you. Please. I got Chiefs fatigue. I feel like everybody in America damn near does. If you're not a Kansas City fan, come on, Josh. We want to see you get over the hump. DeMar Hamlin, you didn't die for nothing, buddy. Let's get this shit going.
I will say, if the Bills get in, the Bills are winning the Super Bowl.
You think they're going to win?
Oh, my gosh. If they get in, I think Josh Allen might just score all 5 touchdowns in the Super Bowl by himself.
He looked unstoppable.
Yeah.
He made that Ravens defense look. He only ran for 20 yards, but they were big runs. And then James Cook, they all ran through that defense like it was nothing. A defense that shut them out 35-10, I believe, earlier that year.
But I don't know. I don't want to jump to conclusions, because over at the NFC, you got the rookie phenom. We've never seen anything like this.
Never seen anything like that.
I mean, we get Mahomes' first season. He won MVP, but that wasn't his first. That was his rookie year.
Yeah.
That was his first year starting. This is his rookie year, first time in the league, and he's torching defenses.
He's seeing the game at a slow down rate better than anybody I've seen, especially at this early in his career.
The Eagles defensive coordinator said it best. He's a rookie by birth certificate.
Yeah.
Not by play.
I like that. Not by play at
all.
Not at all. You saw the thing where he does VR, and he had to have VR for the team he went to. It was a must-have for him. I think all these quarterbacks need to be using this. Obviously, there's something to it.
Yeah.
If you're playing it on virtual reality, you're training at 1 3/4 speed or two full speed, and you come to the game and it's slowed down like that. Obviously, it translates in some degree. We get he's special.
Yeah,
but come on,
MLB hitters have been using it for years now. I was just waiting until it adapted. If
they're going to use these Wonderlic exams and all this stuff to judge these quarterbacks, why can't these guys use the same training they use in
VR?
MLB?
Why don't they do a VR test in the draft combine for now with QBs?
A VR test.
Yeah.
Simulated.
Yep.
2-minute drive.
Yep.
I love that.
That's if I'm an NFL GM.
Should we patent
when we
that?
bring in a quarterback? That's what we do. We run a 2-minute drive on the VR, same speed, but you're taking the Super Bowl champions.
And John Gruden's calling the plays.
John Gruden.
Yeah.
Just random. Just Gruden.
Like intensity.
Why
in
doesn't
their ear.
So the head coaches, they give them a list of plays and they have to tell them what happens on this play.
Yeah.
You give them the script, they have to learn it, and then they come back and got to run it in a 2-minute drill.
Okay.
You give them your 2-minute drill plays, and they got to go run it.
I like that.
I think it'd be genius.
What if you see that later? We'll look out for that.
If it happens later, you heard it here first.
You heard it here first, for sure.
All right. But yeah, so into this game, Eagles Commanders. I want to hint on it. I called it before the season started. I said Eagles to the Super Bowl. I had them winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah, you had them winning outright, and I think Jalen Hurts MVP for Super Bowl.
I did, yeah. I had Jalen Hurts MVP for the Super Bowl too.
Isn't it wild how you lose Jason Kelce, right? And we're questioning the O-line. Not really, because we know it's still a solid unit. Cam Jurgens steps up a lot, but the addition of Saquon Barkley has completely transformed. Not to mention the amazing play by the rookies that were drafted this year in the draft. DeJean, Quinyon Mitchell, Nakobe Dean from last year's draft or 2 years before.
And then we see these players finally develop. Nolan Smith. We've said
Carter.
Me and you, I think we watch all the games.
Goodness.
And I think we've talked about Nolan Smith every game just in
he's going to be a menace for years to come. So, I mean, not to overshadow those guys on the defensive side of the ball who played fantastic all year round. And Vic Fangio's called a great defense all year round.
Amazing.
But Saquon Barkley cannot be overlooked.
No.
He could have easily broke the record if he wanted to. Eric Dickerson's a hater. He's like, do it in 16 games, do it the same amount of time. If you give Saquon Barkley the same amount of carries, which he had less than, 345 was what Eric Dickerson had that year he broke the record and set the record. Saquon had less. If you give him the same amount of carries, basically play that last game, he shatters it.
Kills it.
He shatters it.
And he was hurt. He missed, I think, 1 or 2 games. So technically, Eric Dickerson, he would have done it in less games.
I don't think he missed whole games, did he?
I thought he missed one full game.
He might have missed one full game. I can't remember. But either way, it's ridiculous. I think he averaged 6 yards a carry.
Yeah.
The guy was ridiculous.
Man.
Does that hurt?
Very. Yeah, I was going to say, we didn't have to talk about Saquon.
Yeah. Isn't it funny how, like, players who always come to Philadelphia, you hear they have injury problems, you hear they have these issues. Is it just like the coaching staff, the training staff, are they just elite? Because these players never have issues when they get to Philadelphia.
Yeah.
A.J. Brown had a little bit of injury history before he came over. It wasn't major, but he had a little bit of injury scare.
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely doing something right down there.
I mean,
it seems like they're in the playoffs every year.
It's good to be a Philadelphia fan if you're a Philadelphia
fan.
Oh,
for sure. I mean, last year, I know at the end of last season, Philadelphia fans were like, oh my gosh, we lost in the wild card to the Buccaneers.
Yeah.
It was.
But they were checked out. I don't know what was going on there. I know it was a little bit of disgruntledness with the coaching and everything maybe, but I don't know what was going on.
Because I know now when I say I called him preseason, you're like, well, that's not too crazy, but look back as when I called him.
I mean, for week 3 or 4, we were saying this team isn't looking good.
Yeah.
Because the coach, the drama we thought we saw. And we still see this A.J. Brown book nonsense.
Yeah.
I mean, he got to see it through. He's on TV interviews saying, I just like to read a book. I mean,
he just needs to worry about catching the damn ball this week.
Yeah. You talking all that talk, A.J. Brown. You want the ball, you got to pass the ball. Jalen Hurts made you a target, and you did not show up last week. You cannot do that.
And I needed you for a touchdown. You dropped that touchdown.
If we've seen anything,
we got beef.
The Commanders don't give a damn who they're playing.
No.
Number 1 seed, who cares? Diami Brown, all of a sudden, he resurrected his career in this playoff. He did all right all year. I think he had like 30 catches.
Yeah, how that
playoff run he's got.
How'd that feel, Amon-Ra?
Amon-Ra calling him out.
Talk shit on your podcast, and then Diami Brown come and torches your defense.
Get what you asked for, huh?
Man.
He sent you home. Yeah. Jaden Daniels, crazy. But let's talk about that a little bit, too. I've always felt like, let's talk about the Lions. Dan Campbell, you're amazing. I love that you took the blame. You're a real leader, culture setter. I love that. I want that in a head coach. Is this what McVay saw in Jared Goff? Is this why he shipped him out of L.A.?
Man,
because he can't.
It's starting to look like it because he got to the Super Bowl, can't get it done. You bring in Matt Stafford, you get it done.
First year.
Yeah.
First year.
Yeah. So.
And then there wasn't even that much pressure on Goff, though. He was just rushing, feeling the pressure of the moment, I believe, and making bad plays.
Yeah, I mean, one of my homeboys told me this today. He told me this stat. I didn't hear about it before, so shout out to Cole if you're watching this. He told me QBs since John Elway who have lost their first Super Bowl have never been back.
Since John Elway?
Since John Elway.
So John Elway was the last one to go back and win.
If you lost your first Super Bowl.
Matt Ryan never went back.
No. Mahomes, he won his first
never went back.
Never went back.
Who else can we think of?
There's a lot.
There's probably a lot,
man.
I mean, it's probably most of the guys.
I mean, Jalen Hurts could break it.
Like he's gonna.
He could break the curse
unless Jaden Daniels. Has
we saw Goff do it this year. I mean, I was one of them. I was like, man, I told you, I was like, I'm about to put money on the Lions to win the Super Bowl. I feel so
they looked, but what did I tell you?
You said they peaked too early.
They're peaking too early. Injuries are real. Fatigue is real. And
one thing that scared me too about Goff is, I mean, I didn't think anything of the Commanders. I thought when he got to the Eagles, he'd have this problem. Not with the Commanders.
I mean, you saw it against the Texans.
I was going to go back to that game.
They made any good quarterback look like a fool this year. I will say.
Yeah.
That. Not trying to brag on them, but hey, defense, y'all did y'all's thing. But I mean, 5 interceptions. He was just able. Offense was just bad enough to not put points on the game on the board, and Jared Goff was able to climb back in.
I don't think I've ever seen you watch a game so mad, counting the Chiefs game.
Oh, that game?
Oh, yeah. My gosh.
That Lions game?
Yeah.
There's no reason the Texans shouldn't have won.
No.
You kept Jared Goff in it when really just had to put him away.
Yeah.
That shows you how great Jaden Daniels is. He just never gave them a chance to get back in it.
Close.
Always kept the ball marching.
The one thing that shows from that round is every team that won did not have a single turnover.
Yeah, it's been preached about all throughout.
Yep.
And that's true. I think you see that all the way down to I watched a lot of high school state championship football this year. And I saw that there. The team that made the least mistakes
wins the game.
Win the game.
Yeah.
Almost 90%, 95% of the time, I would say. And that's true. And if it boils down to elementary fundamental skills like that, we see it with the Chiefs. We saw it this week with the Bills. Don't beat yourself. Keep to your regime and stay tried and true. I think you can win these football games.
Just don't turn over the football.
These are not games for big, gaudy stats.
No.
Granted, Saquon, do your thing. But outside of that, you really don't need all that.
No, I mean, it comes down to the quarterback play. I mean,
if you're playing the right game, somebody's going to have a good game.
Yeah.
Travis Kelce had a great game. Saquon had a great game. These guys are going to have great games.
And it's like you were saying, too, it's not just at this level. We saw it. Ohio State did it all through playoffs.
Yeah.
They always won the turnover battle every game except Notre Dame.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's Notre Dame.
Notre Dame. Shout out Marcus.
But,
Freeman.
yeah.
Hell of a job.
Will Howard played himself up into being a
possibly a second-round pick,
which is crazy.
He's still a Ohio State quarterback, and there's that stigma.
Yeah.
But it's what it is. I will say this, man. Jaden Daniels is everything I thought C.J. Stroud was. I still believe C.J. Stroud is going to be a great quarterback. Don't want any other quarterback as a Texans fan, but Jaden Daniels is everything we thought C.J. Stroud was. And
man,
more.
I wish Joe Schoen would have listened to his son who was laying on the couch on Hard Knocks. He said, "What do y'all think I should do? First off, you're the GM. Make up your damn decision. You're a grown man.
You're asking your kids?
You're asking your kids." And he said, "Trade up and take Jaden Daniels. You only get this job once. You might as well try to win."
How was that kid when he was like 12, 13 years old?
I think we were all saying the same.
Make him the GM.
Man, I'm okay with that at this point. Joe Schoen, I hate you. I hate you, Joe Schoen.
Got rid of Saquon.
Okay. I was saying Saquon hurt me. I told you this one hurt me more than Saquon.
Yeah.
Xavier McKinney.
Xavier McKinney.
And he had a hell of a season.
He did have a hell of a season. I think that season doesn't get had if he's with the Giants. So
no,
we can say the same for Saquon.
Neither does Saquon.
We can say the same for Saquon. But what if? Just what if? We're dabbling in what ifs here.
We keep him and get Jaden Daniels.
You go get Jaden Daniels. You keep McKinney.
Why'd you
pay Thibodeau? Did Thibodeau got paid, didn't he?
Yeah.
Why'd you pay Thibodeau? Why are you paying Daniel Jones? I get it was last year, but come on.
And then Thibodeau has the audacity to say through the season, if you're making an impact, I think you should have a voice. You had 4.5 sacks as a first-round pick. Shut the fuck up, Kayvon Thibodeau.
Yeah. He had bust first year, I feel like, vibes. Second year, I was like, okay, he's looking prominent. And then he's back to that.
Give me Brian Burns and give me Azeez Ojulari. Thibodeau, I'm okay with getting a third-round pick for you at this point.
Third round?
Man.
For a thirder? I like that.
Giants
definitely got to make some moves. But
got to get a corner. Got to get offensive line.
If we're going to dabble in this, who do you have in this Eagles-Commanders game? Getting back on topic here.
I have the Eagles. I know how Jaden Daniels has been playing. The Eagles have torched defenses they've played so far.
Yeah.
I mean, Saquon.
Unstoppable.
Both times he's played him this year.
And then you got to worry about Jalen Hurts taking 40 yards to the house the other day.
He had every time. So they've played twice already this season.
Yeah.
Commanders 1-1, Eagles 1-1. One of the games, Jalen Hurts was out, and the Commanders won by a field goal.
Yeah.
The game where Hurts plays, they win by over 2 possessions.
Right.
Saquon's had 140 yards in both games, 150 in the other, 2 touchdowns. What's going to make that any different?
Is this the best thing we've seen in Philadelphia since Allen Iverson? Just star power, unstoppable.
I hate Philly, but probably so.
Oh my goodness.
Oh no, Nick Foles. That Super Bowl run.
That was pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that.
But yeah, I'm gonna take Philly. I rode with them from the beginning of the season as a Giants fan too. I mean, this hurts. But yeah.
Unbiased there.
Yeah. I'm just gonna be honest.
I'm gonna rock with the Commanders. What I saw against the Lions, I mean, at this point, they're all bought in.
Man.
And they're winning these games solely because now Terry Scary, I always said was a true number one in this league. He's amazing. You got other guys like Diami Brown stepping up. Austin Eckler's returned to form in this playoff run. Brian Robertson's still a little bit of a force. Zach Ertz reemerging his career. Jesus, he looks like he's 28, 27 years old again.
And he's going to be having
Dan Quinn has
the Eagles game.
Dan Quinn has these boys rolling. Jaden Daniels has them feeling like they're unstoppable, and maybe they are. You know what? I bought in at this point. I'm riding with the Commanders. I kind of want to see a rookie in the freaking Super Bowl.
I want the Commanders to win this game. I mean, for a little bit more personal reasons also. But I would love to see a rookie quarterback go in there. And
it's just unprecedented.
If Jaden Daniels, we're getting very hypothetical.
Yeah.
Wins the whole thing.
Okay.
Is there a conversation? It's like, oh, he's already the best QB in the league.
In the league?
In the league.
No, because you can't look over Mahomes now to what they've done. They solidified 1 and 2, I feel like.
But
strongly.
if he beats one of them on the biggest stage.
Argument for 3, for sure. Do what nobody else could do. If you beat Mahomes on the biggest stage, your argument for 3. Yeah. It's just, we still have to calm down a little bit. I get it. We're in love with it. We did the same thing with CJ last year. Not to this degree, but like, oh my God, this guy's going to be.
This is a
Let's tell it back a little bit and give it another year. And after that second year, I'll be like,
okay,
this guy might be the best quarterback.
You're an NFL GM.
Mm-hmm.
You got to take a mobile QB.
Yeah.
You taking him over Lamar?
Him over 100%. He is Mahomes, but he runs better and he might throw the ball better.
That deep ball. I mean, when he threw that deep ball the last game, me and our jaws
not
fell
only
to
should
the floor.
They have listened to the kid, Joe Schoon's kid. They should listen to him. They should listen to Dan Orlovsky when he said Jaden Daniels is the best quarterback in this draft.
I mean,
February
one thing
29th.
I want to touch on with both of these teams, they got these big moves while making the other two bottom feeders in the division look completely stupid.
They did.
Saquon from the Giants, we look stupid.
Yeah.
Taking Dan Quinn from the Cowboys, and now they fired McCarthy.
Yep. And Kellen Moore is the previous
offensive coordinator, and he's on the Eagles too.
The Dallas Cowboys.
Jerry Jones, you look like an idiot.
You look like a dumbass. I mean, I'm not gonna lie.
So do the Giants, but like y'all were supposed to be
two coaches you had
a playoff team
that you could have risen through your ranks are on teams that are now in the championship game in your conference.
The Commanders were picked to finish.
Aikman said it. It's not a coveted
last.
job.
Yeah,
it's not a coveted job. I agree with him. I get it. Every job in the NFL, anybody would want it, right?
Oh yeah.
But come on, if I had my pick, probably going to be in the bottom 10 of wins.
Oh, for sure.
I don't care about the publicity.
The star.
Actually, that makes me not want it more.
No.
You see Dan Quinn put his head down, build his team, build the culture. Jaden Daniels, they're believing him. Look where they're at.
Dan Campbell did the same thing with the Lions.
Yes.
D'Amico, I think, is doing it in Houston.
Yes.
I mean, there's cultures getting built. And in the Cowboys, all you hear about is what they should have done, what they could have been. It's not what they're doing.
Not what they're doing. It's never what they're doing, never what they're in the middle of.
Or if they are talking about what they're doing, it's what they're doing wrong.
Yeah, 100%.
All the time.
And maybe it's a different season if Dak stays healthy, but I don't think so.
They still don't get in the playoffs.
I don't think they get in the playoffs. You called that.
Yeah.
You said Cowboys didn't get in the playoffs.
No.
You can say it's because Dak didn't get healthy. I don't think so. I think there's disarray. I think you're right. I'm going to give you your props on that. And I want to talk about a little bit more to these shout out to the defensive head coaches, man. I thought the defensive head coaches were a dying breed, and we know they are. They're always going to be tried and true, the few ones that can make it happen.
Yeah.
But Sean McDermott, Dan Quinn, D'Amico Ryans, getting these guys to the very end of the season. Couple of you guys still playing. So where they say this is an offensive league, it is an offensive league. But you know what does win championships? As cliche as it is, defense will always and continue to win championships.
Yeah.
And these defensive coaches who are at the top of the game, at the top level, can lead these teams to Super Bowls.
The good ones, though.
The good ones.
Because, I mean, then you see Eberflus with the Bears.
Well, I just mean, the good
Saleh,
ones, the selective few.
Oh, yeah.
And let's be real. When's the last time we seen, outside of Brady, who's an outlier, who's beaten Mahomes in the it's not been these offensive-minded coaches.
No.
These offensive-minded coaches cannot go up against Andy Reid and Mahomes. You need a defensive guru who can shut these guys out and a leader at quarterback who won't make the mistakes to 100%. Beat these guys.
I think
is that a recipe? Is that Sean McDermott in the Buffalo Bills?
I think so.
Damn.
Yeah. Or is it Dan Quinn and the Commanders?
Either way.
If the Commanders win the Super Bowl, that's probably the craziest Super Bowl winner I've seen in years.
Season, already the greatest rookie season we've already seen. But everybody saw the Texans and what they did last year.
Yeah.
And you're like, that's the recipe. We got to go do that. Reset your roster, pick up some guys in the offseason, get a new head coach who's a culture builder, and go draft the right quarterback, right?
Yep.
I didn't think a team would turn around and do it the next year and take it further. There's no excuses. These are the new quarterbacks. It's not this. Let's wait. Let's see if he can play. Let's sit him. No, these guys are coming in. They're starting now. NCAA, the college game is now adapted to the pro game so well. It's just a good transition. We're going to get starters now, and they're going to look to win immediately.
Yeah.
Remember I said in the beginning, I was like, put Drake me in immediately. I get the roster wasn't built for it.
It's true.
But next year, he's going to be your starter. You want to give him the most experience you can.
Absolutely.
Possible.
You got to go get a receiver, too. You got to get him
receivers
help.
for them. We talked about Bryce Young. Maybe his career was over. He looked really good resurrecting. He needed time. Maybe he needed to be humbled and sit down, but he needed time a little bit. In those cases, I get it. But I also think that experience helped him.
Man, seeing all these young QBs pushing these bad franchises over the edge gets me excited.
Oh.
We finally got rid of Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
But, man, this draft class does not look very great.
I don't know if there's a real star quarterback. You can say Shadur. You can say Cam.
I've said it from the beginning of the college season who I want. I've made it known.
Who's that?
Jackson Dart.
Jackson Dart. He's rising right now.
Man.
They're talking about him on the shows. The scouts are talking about him. They really like the size, the speed, the arm strength. I see why. You know why? They're looking at Josh Allen. They're looking at these guys. They're looking at Justin Herbert. They're looking at Drake. Man, they're like, man, he has everything they have.
He's got the attitude.
Let's go do it. He has the charisma. He has the spunk.
And I mean, if we don't go get him, I mean, maybe the Vikings found their guy in Sam Darnold. Maybe they don't need J.J. McCarthy.
I don't think I want J.J. McCarthy. I don't think he's ever shown that. Does he have a big arm?
Want J.J. McCarthy.
He has some spunk. Yeah. Can he be developed? Yeah, but who has time to develop? We're winning now. These guys are coming in.
Who says he needs to be developed? I mean,
I think he 100% needs to be developed.
We don't know. We haven't seen him.
He was dominant. I mean, he got carried by a run game in Michigan. But let's not get off topic.
Man.
What are we going on to next, buddy?
All right. I mean, I want to touch on, we just mentioned the Cowboys and how they look stupid for getting rid of Daniel.
Okay.
We know Cowboys fans want to hear about it. We live in Texas.
Yeah.
We get asked all the time when we do podcast episodes. What do y'all talk about the Cowboys?
Cowboys. You going to talk about the Cowboys?
So we'll talk about the Cowboys. Cowboys need a head coach.
Yeah.
They got rid of the wrong coach.
I don't think they realized. I think Jerry didn't realize Mike McCarthy had so much leverage.
Yeah.
And he's like, I want 5 years, not 3 years. And Jerry strong-armed, and Mike was like, you're not strong-arming me. I'm good.
I'll leave.
Other teams that need a good head coach.
And the fact that he said, I'll leave,
lets you know you've overpaid your quarterback, you've overpaid your receiver. CD's a great weapon, don't get me wrong, but you got to pay other guys. This is not a great roster to build behind.
Micah doesn't seem super happy most of the time.
Tank Lawrence is, 33 years old now?
And he didn't even have a good season.
No, he's older now. Trayvon Diggs 2 years ago was the messiah at cornerback just because he was able to bait people. He's not what people think he is, especially after the injury.
Man, and
Bland was a one-hit wonder.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, guys.
I mean,
they need a complete rebuild, or do they need a superstar at head coach that can overshadow the owner?
All right. Hear me out. Big picture. Cowboys fans are either going to love this or hate this.
Okay.
You take your draft pick and you trade your draft pick.
Okay, what for?
You go trade and you get up somewhere where you can go get Shadur Sanders.
Shadur.
I mean, I'm saying this as I see the Cowboys.
Okay.
They don't give a fuck about winning football games.
They don't. They want to be entertainment. They want to be the biggest thing in the world.
So go ahead, go do that. Go get Shadur.
Okay.
And go sign Dion. You need the head coach. They already like him.
Dion's gonna make you get shallow too if you do that.
Exactly. I mean, but okay. Last I checked, the betting favorite for their head coaching job, Deion Sanders.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not a Cowboys lover at all.
I hate them.
Might have a little bit of hate towards them. Maybe just the fan base, but that would be awesome for NFL, for football, for fans.
Yeah, I mean,
we saw how crazy it was for Colorado, a school that was desolate, a school that was forgotten about.
Yeah.
Bringing that to the Cowboys?
Now, if I'm the Cowboys, is that who I'm hiring? No.
Who are you hiring, though?
Personally, there's two guys I'm looking at.
Okay.
Robert Saleh.
Okay.
And Joe Brady.
Joe Brady?
Joe Brady, OC for the Bills.
I love Joe Brady.
You
think he's head coach ready?
I think so.
I mean, he was great with the national championship 2019 LSU Tigers. Immensely talented.
He wins everywhere he goes.
Knows how to incorporate offense, build a culture, it seems like, on the offensive side of the ball. Actually, I really like the Joe Brady take. I think it's probably a year out before he actually gets coaching jobs.
Yeah, maybe the Giants. Be cool with it. We'll see how. I'll give Daboll another year. I've always rode for Daboll. You know, he got us a playoff.
I think you go get Dion if you're a Cowboys. I mean, shoot for the stars. Worst case scenario, you loved watching them all year round.
True.
Best case scenario, you take steps toward a real future.
True.
For the Cowboys.
You get off that quarterback that you overpaid. You know, maybe to a team that's a quarterback away. It's up there in the draft. I mean, there's stuff you can do.
Yeah. Go ahead and ship Dak to New Orleans.
That would be something. Dak in New Orleans, Shadur in Dallas, just for them to go 7-10 again.
The world may never know. You think he's going to hire? You think Jerry Jones really wants to, or he's just playing with the media?
I don't know.
Because he said he's enamored with the idea.
Yeah,
he's such a mastermind manipulator when it comes to the media.
That's true. I mean, I could see Jerry Jones doing it because he's an idiot. I mean, I don't think Deion's an NFL coach.
I don't think he even cares about the football. I think he's like, money.
Man, he was putting the players' social media tags on the back of their practice jerseys.
Yeah.
What winning team does that? This is
just the biggest show on turf to him.
Yeah.
You know, it is.
Which, I mean, I can't blame Deion. He's getting his money. He's getting his paper. Colorado isn't a poverty school anymore.
I believe in a little bit of Deion, what he's doing. I mean,
don't get me wrong.
I said, they were unknown. I mean, they weren't unknown. We knew about Colorado, but they're forgotten.
Yeah.
And he's made them relevant again.
I love Deion.
The Cowboys are already relevant.
Good guy. I just don't think he's an NFL coach.
Can he lead grown men? I mean, he played for them. He's a Hall of Fame player, arguably the best at his position.
People might listen to him.
They're gonna buy in.
Yeah,
100% will buy in. Will Jerry step to the side and let him do what he does?
I think he's too big of a personality. He runs the whole Colorado football program.
Yeah,
single-handedly.
Yeah,
He can't.
You got to
do that
come in
in
and hire new guys. These guys you got working for you, maybe Warren Sapp, maybe T.O. can translate over, and your strength coach can probably translate over because a lot of these guys use his strength coach. You have B-Enemy at Colorado too, so you can probably have 3 or 4 guys that come over. But everybody else, you got to rebuild the staff.
Oh,
got to get NFL guys.
We'll see what the Cowboys do.
We'll see. Do you really care?
No.
Nah.
All right. Talked about Lamar. Talked about Jared Goff, but
we didn't really touch on Lamar.
I was gonna say Lamar disappointed.
Does he get a pass?
I was gonna say go back episode 6 early in the episode. We're talking about how the Ravens beat the Bengals.
Yeah,
and I was like, that might be one of the biggest games of Lamar that we've seen Lamar win. And you said, I'll give you credit for this. If that was a playoff game and the real lights were on, we would have seen it flipped. Yeah. Lamar would have folded. Joe Burrow would have came on top.
Yes, I believe that. 100%.
And then what happens? The Ravens beat the Bills earlier this year, 35-10 in a snow-dominant run game.
Yeah.
Playoffs come around. It's almost deja vu for Bills fans.
Yeah.
It's a snow game. Everyone's talking about whoever dominates the run's going to win. And Lamar fucked it up once again.
Not even that. I mean, that too. I would say, you can say, I saw Shady McCoy saying, it's how you finish, it's how you finish, it's how you finish. Playoff football is all 4 quarters. You cannot throw an interception that bad. Brian Baldinger, I saw him, he showed a clip, and he's like, at the last second, Bateman veered off to the right, and Lamar thought he was going straight. You got to build this relationship with your guys.
Exactly.
There's no excuses for that. You have to have this. You got to be at that connection at this point in the season. You have to have that chemistry. You got to have it. You got to let it go. And then the fumble. The play's dead. Ball down. You see Mahomes do it. You see CJ do it. You see Hurts. He'll usually do it. They just take the sack. Stafford's huge on it. He just takes the sack.
Yeah.
Almost to the point where it looks like, what is he doing? They're just giving up on a play? No, there's nothing there. Take the sack. Live to see another down.
Don't turn the ball over.
Don't turn the ball over. Now, I will say a lot of blame goes to Mark Andrews, but you're the quarterback in position. You can't put them in a trailing position in the beginning of the game.
Against that level of a team.
Against that level of a team.
Against Josh
Chiefs
Allen.
like that.
No.
You're not going to beat the Bills like that.
No. And I'm going to be honest. If you get that 2-point conversion, there's still time for Josh Allen.
There's still so much time.
There's still 3 timeouts.
Maybe Lamar does. Maybe they do win that game.
Maybe.
We don't know. We don't eat, we don't live, we don't breathe off of maybes. Maybe just a little bit.
A little bit. But yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say get rid of Lamar.
No, you can't. No, we're not going to do that now.
He's an MVP level guy.
We're going to say this about him.
You got to find a way for him to get him to perform at the biggest stage.
I mean, you had Derrick Henry this year. I mean, you had everything aligned for you. Your defense was playing like it always does, top 5.
I mean, if I'm a Ravens GM, I'm asking Lamar, what do you think needs to be done to get y'all to that level? I mean, you leave it in Lamar's hands, I feel like, at this point.
Yeah.
Because you've gotten so close.
I hate to say this because he's such a good coach, but it seemed like you changed the offensive coordinator, you changed the running backs, you've added to the defense, you've upgraded the offensive line. It's either the quarterback or the coach.
I don't think it's either.
What do you think it is? He's just not going to be good enough to get over that hump?
Yeah.
Until he does. We all said the same thing about Peyton Manning until he did in season 9.
Yeah. I also feel like he's never had a true number 1 receiver. And some QBs are great enough to where they don't need that. I mean,
they were missing Zay Flowers.
Exactly. I don't think he's number 1, though.
I don't think he's number 1.
But I mean,
he's the first one to make the Pro Bowl ever.
It's true.
First Ravens receiver ever to make the Pro Bowl.
Yeah. I mean, I think maybe you have to ask him, like, hey, do we need to go get you number 1 for you to get over this hump?
These number 1s don't want to play with this guy.
Yeah.
And I don't see why, because he put up the stats this year. Passes, touchdowns. Bateman had a great year. Andrews and likely had a good year, but it's disseminated. It's never just one guy targeted.
Yeah, I mean,
if you're a number 1, like Stephon Diggs on the back end of his career, who's chasing a chip, you take that chance.
Yeah,
who's injured, had injuries, but still has that talent, still has that drive.
True. T. Higgins?
No, I don't think so.
No?
I think you want to go get paid.
True.
You already got guys over there getting paid, and you want to show that you are number 1, not in the way that Lamar can show you a number 1, but in a way that's like, I can be a Triple Crown winner like Jamar Chase.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
From the Patriots.
At this point, I really don't know what else the Ravens need.
I think they just got to keep doing what they're doing, adjust as they go, and just hope Lamar can finally get over the hump like Manning did back in the day.
Hope so. All right. Well, moving on. We touched on the games. I mean, I guess we can start maybe previewing Super Bowl matchups.
Okay.
So you took Bills, Commanders.
Yeah. I like Bills Commanders a lot. That's the one everybody wants to see, I feel like. That's what I want to see.
That's what I want to see, too. We can ignore the matchups, though.
Okay.
You got 4 teams left in the playoffs.
Okay.
Who's winning the Super Bowl for
Who's
you?
winning the Super Bowl
For you.
out of these 4 teams?
Yeah.
I really, truly believe, and I'm probably completely wrong, that the Buffalo Bills will win the Super Bowl. But from what I've seen all year and what I've seen at Josh Allen up to him actually beating Mahomes in the playoffs, but what I've seen, I think this is the year he does it.
Man, I want the Bills to win the Super Bowl. I think the Chiefs still beat them, but I think I'm going to say, I said it in preseason, I'm going to ride with it. I'm taking the Eagles still.
I like it. I mean, they're the most complete team, if you ask me.
Yes.
They might not perform the most complete at every single game, but roster-wise, they have the guys to win it all.
I think Eagles are the best team to also beat the Chiefs if they make it to the Super Bowl.
I agree with you, as long as Quinyon Mitchell stays healthy.
Yes, and I know people have their questions about Jalen Hurts.
I don't.
I've heard it.
I get it throughout the regular season, the up and downs.
Yeah.
But in the biggest moments and the biggest games, this guy performs.
We forget he almost beat Mahomes in a Super Bowl, played out of his mind.
Probably the best performance I've ever seen in a Super Bowl. You can argue Nick Foles because they got the dub.
So what I'm hearing is the Eagles just performed the Super Bowl.
When it shines bright, these quarterbacks for the Eagles, if they're in the big game, they make it a game.
So, I mean, I'm going to ride with the Eagles. Neither one of us are taking the Chiefs.
Man.
Is there a little
Didn't
bias?
you hear me earlier?
It's true.
I'm tired of watching the Chiefs and Taylor Swift and
I
Travis
know we're
Kelce.
tired of it. Are we being a little bit biased?
Dogs. Probably. It's Chiefs fatigue. We all got it.
Yeah.
If you're not a Chiefs fan, you got it. But I really don't think. Look, let's be real. Until somebody knocks them out of it, especially when they've been in the AFC Championship game, they always go. 7 years in a row. They've been to the AFC Championship, and usually when they're in the AFC Championship, they go. Outside of that 1 year, Brady beat them.
Burrow beat him.
Burrow beat him and Brady beat him.
Yep.
Okay, I'm sorry. Mahomes MVP year, Brady beat him. Burrow beat him 2 years after that.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So outside of that, they go, right? They go. And Josh Allen's never beat them. It's going to surprise me if the Chiefs win. No. Will it surprise me if the Bills win, though, now? No. I used to be like, yes.
Yeah.
It's not going to surprise me if the Buffalo Bills actually get over the hump and get it done and go to the Super Bowl.
True.
And we might have to relive another Chiefs-Eagles Super Bowl.
Which I'm fine with as long as the Eagles can knock them off.
Yeah, they have the secondary. They have the defense to do it this time.
A small part of me might even be happy to see Saquon with the ring.
That would be awesome.
First
year.
I would be pissed.
If anybody deserves it.
I'd be pissed it's with the Eagles. But
if anybody deserves it, that guy deserves it.
He gave our franchise all he had.
He gave you guys life.
Yeah. He was our only bright spot.
That's true.
For years. But yeah, I mean, okay. Now on to Josh Allen and Lamar, our season award winners. We made our predictions at the beginning of the year.
Mm-hmm.
I think we both took your boy CJ.
Yeah, I mean, just with the additions they made, we expected them to take a big leap.
I mean,
sophomore slump,
injuries,
sure.
but definitely declined from play from his rookie year.
Yeah.
Or stayed the same.
There was a slight digression, I would say.
But it seems like the front runners are Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson.
Mm-hmm. I think that game settled it.
I
know it's
do
voted
too.
on before that, but if there was ever a question who's more valuable to their team, that's what it is. It's the most valuable player. It's not the offensive player. It's the most valuable player. Derrick Henry changed a lot for that team. Don't get me wrong. Statistically, Lamar Jackson played out of his mind. But early in the season, he had issues, and they lost and won on his hand.
Yeah, they lost to the Raiders.
They lost to the Raiders. They lost to the Chiefs, which is no faint opponent.
Yeah.
But Josh Allen, I mean, just all year put his head down, grinded out the wins. They got to a point where I think they only had 2 losses in the season. Far into the season.
Yeah.
They lost a couple more going forward.
Yeah, and they lost the last game, but I mean, that's with Trubisky back there.
Trubisky.
Or they might have won it. I really don't know.
I think they lost the Patriots.
I think so. Joe Milton played out of his mind.
Yeah. Shout out Joe Milton.
Man.
I think it's unformidably Josh Allen is the MVP this year.
I think so too. I'm not gonna be mad if they give it to Lamar.
I won't be mad if they give it to Lamar.
I won't be mad at all. But if I'm a voter,
there's 3 guys I'm completely okay with getting it.
3.
Josh, Lamar,
Saquon. Yeah. There was one point in the season we had stopped doing the podcast for a little bit.
Yeah, a little hiatus.
And I was like, man, Saquon's gonna win the MVP. I felt like.
I was like, I'm not gonna argue with you.
No, yeah, but I mean, I'm giving it to Josh Allen.
All we talk about is rushing, but
man,
I'm pretty sure his receiving stats were
pretty good.
Not below mid tier. Like they were top tier receiving stats
for a running back. Oh yeah. He might have almost led running backs in receiving yards.
Yeah. So, I mean, either way, who do you got for offensive player of the year?
Saquon.
Saquon?
Yeah.
100%. Unanimous?
Saquon.
I think everybody
100%.
100%.
If it's not unanimous, it's 90% him and 10% Jane Daniels, I guess.
Yeah, maybe. Offensive rookie of the year?
Jane Daniels.
Jaden Daniels.
100%. 99%.
I really did like what I saw from Bo Nix. I was high on Bo Nix.
You were. I was low on Bo Nix.
Sean Payton got a more athletic Drew Brees.
Yeah.
Exactly what I see. He saw it. He sees what he saw in Brees. That guy's going to be a problem in years to come.
Oh,
AFC
for sure.
West just got really competitive.
Very
really fast.
It got better.
Competitive
is, I don't know.
I 100% believe next year it's going to be really competitive. These Chief stars are getting older. Mahomes is still only 29 years old. Kelsey's going to be 35, 36 years old at that point.
I think he retires if they win it this year?
If they win it this year, probably, yeah. I think he rides off to the sunset, possibly marries Taylor Swift.
Proposes after the game.
Some
corny shit.
Corny stuff, fairy tale ending, whatever. Let's not even breathe that into life. But anyways, I like Bo Nix a lot, but I agree. Jaden Daniels, it's just uncanny performance.
Some more controversial, not as close ones. Defensive player of the year.
Defensive player of the year? Call me biased, bro. My defensive player of the year is Derek Stingley Jr.
Yeah.
100%. Once you mix the lockdown ability, I think only one person had more lockdown than him. PS2.
Yeah.
But with the big takeaways. PS2 didn't have those takeaways. He had a couple. Didn't have those takeaways. Changed games in playoffs. Derek Stingley Jr. is my DPOY. Maybe I'm biased, but I'm rocking with Sting, Derek Stingley Jr.
I'm taking the other guy you alluded to. Give me Patrick Surtain.
Yeah.
He led every corner stat category except picks.
Yeah.
But you can't lead picks when you're not throwing.
I saw a crazy stat where it was.
I sent you
the
a
passer
crazy stat
percentage.
sheet. Yeah.
While he was being targeted, would have been higher if when he was targeted, PS2 is who I'm alluding to, if they just threw the ball in the dirt.
Yeah.
They would have had a passer rating that was higher than throwing the ball to the receiver he was covering.
Yeah.
That is absurd.
Yeah, I sent you a stat sheet.
Yeah.
I saw it. Whereas number one in every category except picks. But you can't lead picks when you just don't get thrown at. And when you do throw at them,
I think people were still doubting Derek Stingley and we can still throw at this guy.
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to be the case next year.
No, I don't think so either.
And the thing is, if we're going to go ahead and talk about defensive rookie of the year, the guy on the other side of the ball of him was pretty fucking locked down.
Yeah. I told you at one point in the season, I felt like last year might have been y'all's best corner.
Best corner? I knew he wasn't, but I mean, the play he has made. And I'm not even, shout out to Kalen Bullock too. 6 interceptions as a rookie. Just a ball hawk, looked like a young Ed Reed out there. Oh my goodness. I don't know who I would pick. Either Bullock or Lassiter. I'm going to say Lassiter because he was out there on the island most of the time too.
Yeah, 100%.
Locking stuff down, 4 interceptions. Big play in the playoffs. I mean, come on, man.
My DPOY is going to be Jared Verse.
Jared Verse for the Rams. That was a great pickup for them.
Yeah.
Fisk, too, is an honorable mention for me.
True.
Man, they got some guys over there.
Verse falls in the draft. I mean, we're all confused. Why is a defensive player gone yet watching last year's draft? Yeah. They take Verse and, they hit.
They hit. And then next round, they take Fisk.
They hit again. Byron Young last year, they rebuilt that defense.
Remember I spoke about it. I predicted the Rams. Division to win the division. And
my question about him was the defense.
Was the defense, right? Yeah, it was the defense. And we saw it against the first game of the season against the Lions, how the Lions just ran down there at the end of the game. No trouble. Ran the ball.
Easy.
Won the game. If them guys would have had to play again in the playoffs, I got the Rams winning that game. The way they were playing and Sean McVay in the playoffs. Dan Campbell was amazing, but Sean McVay is a better coach.
Oh.
I truly believe in all facets of coaching. Matthew Stafford is elite when it comes to getting the ball out and taking reads. And the no-look passes, man, are ridiculous. This guy is not 36 years. This is a reason. There is a reason Matt Stafford is your favorite quarterback's favorite quarterback. Come on, man. The guy's ridiculous.
Crazy.
Cooper Kupp, the injuries are kind of showing, but they're dangerous when they get in the playoffs.
This is going to be an extremely hot take.
Okay.
But if you give me 2 guys and I got to take to win a game, not even right now, I get to pick their primes.
Okay.
I'm taking Matthew Stafford over Aaron Rodgers.
Over Aaron Rodgers?
Over Aaron Rodgers.
It might sound crazy because Aaron was immaculate in his prime and his accuracy was crazy. But we didn't get to see Matthew Stafford on anything but a bad Lions team.
And when he does get to a good Rams team, at this old of an age.
I think I agree with you. I think I'll take Matthew Stafford's career. I think the better quarterback to me, the stats might not show it, but just a true gunslinger, fearless, in the pocket, out of the pocket, I'm taking Matthew Stafford.
And when he got to the big games with the Rams, he's won them.
Won them.
When Aaron Rodgers was in some big games.
Granted, you run into a buzzsaw this last year, but I mean, you guys, realistically, amazing that you're here, but your defense and offense is probably 2-3 guys away on each side of the ball.
Yeah.
Before you're making another run.
Cup fell off a cliff.
Now, next year, don't be surprised if the Los Angeles Rams are right there in the championship game going to the Super Bowl.
100%.
Do not be surprised.
If Stafford comes back.
He's coming back. I think there's some unfinished business. I'd be very surprised if he retired.
I hope so. I just don't want him to retire too late.
He still looks great to me.
True. Me too.
The game's different now.
I mean, we just compared him and Aaron.
Yeah.
Aaron. Look at Aaron this year.
About to come back again.
Aaron Rodgers?
I think so. He's coming back.
Oh, God. I hope
Maybe not in New York, but it sounds like there's some unfinished business for him, too.
I'm already tired of hearing about Aaron Rodgers.
The documentary got me kind of being a fan of him. I like the guy. He's different, but he's kind of a diva when it comes to management, upper management and everything.
100%.
The way he operates.
That's why I like Matt Stafford.
Matt Stafford's a dog.
Sure, he's a man's man.
Yeah. Shout out Matt Stafford.
But yeah, so I think we touched on all the awards. Oh, Coach of the Year.
Coach of the Year?
I think it's a two-man race.
Two-man race?
If you would have asked me after the regular season, I would have said Kevin O'Connell.
Okay.
But like you said, I feel like voters have to at least look into the playoffs a little bit.
Yeah.
I think it happens naturally.
Yeah.
Give me Dan Quinn for Coach of the Year. No one expected the Commanders to make the playoffs, if we're being honest.
I really like Dan Quinn for Coach of the Year. I like your take on this. It's not a crazy take, but it is. If you would say that in the beginning of the year, Dan Quinn's my prediction.
Yeah.
I've been like, we'll see. All right.
It's a stretch.
It's a stretch. You do have Sam Darnold, former first-round pick.
True.
Jaden Daniels, first-round pick. So they're both talent-wise supposed to be the same. Jaden Daniels on another level, clearly.
Oh,
but
100%.
the production he got out of Sam Darnold. Granted, playoffs are the playoffs. It was Sam Darnold's first playoff game. Cut the guy some slack. If you don't want to, whatever. Kick rocks. But the production he got out of this guy all year at an MVP level, arguably, is ridiculous. Now you have some weapons on the offense.
Oh,
Jones, Jefferson, Hawkinson came back middle of the year. Addison played out of his mind. But you're forgetting they lost Darsal really early in the year. That O-line held up good enough, and Sam Darnold got that ball out all year fast enough for the most part. He just couldn't beat the Lions all year.
Yeah.
And nobody fucking could.
Yeah.
15 other teams lost to him. 13 other teams lost to him.
Yeah. They played ridiculous. I mean, Kevin O'Connell probably just got Sam Darnold a contract, in my opinion.
Yeah, even if if Sam Darnold lost a little bit of money for the last two games, he still made himself so much more money.
Oh, yeah. In my opinion.
I called it. Remember, I called
you
it
did.
at the beginning of the year.
No, you did. You called Kevin O'Connell and Sam Darnold.
Yeah.
He probably got Sam Darnold paid. If that's in Minnesota, we'll see.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't pay him. But I mean, Coach of the Year, you win 14 games with that team.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Crazy. And you lose Kirk Cousins when people are like, oh, they're going to take a hit.
Now, you do get a great performance from Brian Flores in the defense.
Yeah.
They made some moves in the offseason, went and got Grenard. They let Hunter go, but they went and got Grenard from Houston. They kind of did a swap. They went and got Cashman from Houston, played a great Mike linebacker position. You go pick up Stephon Gilmore, and the rest of the guys just balled out.
True.
And Flores had them guys humming. So it's shout out to them for really balling out and stepping up when their team needed them the most. That was a really tight team, and you could see it all year round. Kevin O'Connell, I'm fine with him winning it, but I'm also 100% fine with Dan Quinn taking it.
Oh, yeah.
Because this is ridiculous.
I'm cool with either one. Talked about Darnold. Who's your comeback player of the year?
Comeback player of the year? Sam Darnold. I think Sam Darnold 100% is for me.
I'm going to take the guy who led in stats for every quarterback category this year.
Yeah.
Give me Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow played out of his mind.
Got hurt last season. I called out Joe Burrow at the beginning of the season. I was like.
And it might have been justified because what we were seeing was not what we were used to seeing.
No. I called Joe Burrow out as like, man, you're supposed to be a top 3 QB.
I think he saw that clip and he's like, this fucking nobody's calling me out. And that's when he turned it on. I think from there on out, he was just like.
Yeah, I mean.
He obviously didn't see the clip.
No, not at all. And I'm not even a Joe Burrow hater. No, I mean, I love Joe Burrow. Love Joe Burrow. It was just, I thought they needed to win more games. And I mean, they did it just a little too late.
Yeah.
But I also think that's Zach Taylor. I don't think it's Joe Burrow.
Right.
100%.
Joe Burrow played out of his mind. I love that.
Love Joe Burrow.
I think Joe Burrow probably does deserve it because he did get injured.
100%.
And the mental aspect of getting injured and coming back and fighting through this bad season and having the best season I've seen from a quarterback.
I just wanted them to get in the playoffs.
I did too, man.
You tell me one team that I think can go beat the Chiefs because they've done it.
Yeah.
The Bengals.
I think a lot of people didn't want to see them. I remember I was telling you, I was like, I hope the Bengals don't get in because I don't want to have to play them.
Yeah, you don't want to see them.
I don't want to have to play them. Even though the Texans did shut down top quarterbacks all year, I just still didn't want to have to play them.
Yeah.
Because Joe Burrow played out of his mind. It shouldn't be a consolation prize.
No.
Honestly, if I could vote for anybody, if they would have made the playoffs, if the Cincinnati Bengals make the playoffs, give me Joe Burrow as MVP.
I just can't hold that against Burrow, man.
I mean, now he played out of his mind.
Lead every stat category.
They did fire their defensive coordinator, which might have been a hasty move. I think he's got to get some better players in there.
We'll see. I think the wrong coach got fired.
Possibly.
I mean, I think you clear house. Keep the offensive coordinator. The offense is doing their thing.
Yeah.
Get rid of Zach Taylor. No one wants to follow him. Get rid of the defensive coordinator already. Just rebuild the coaching staff. Get T. Higgins back.
Get a new identity. Get a new regime in.
If you're the Bengals, you have got to do everything to keep T. Higgins.
I don't think T. Higgins stays.
I don't think
you got
so
teams like
either.
New England with all the cap space in the world and a culture builder, coach, good quarterback. Or he can go get paid there. He can go to Jacksonville and get paid. He can come down to Houston and get paid.
Go to New York and get paid.
He can go to New York and get paid. Like, I don't think you keep T. Higgins. Now, is he willing to do that? Take that hit to get that Super Bowl? I think their chances are very high if he's willing to take that
100%. Yeah.
If it's the first time I'm getting paid as an NFL player, like real money,
I want that bag.
I want that fucking bag, dude.
Man.
You only get one chance at this to set your family up forever. You got to go chase the bag.
Oh, 100%.
And then worry about championships.
We can't hate on T. Higgins wherever he goes.
No. They will get the bag. Look at D-Hop. He might win a ring this year. Got the bag everywhere he went. Now he might win a ring in the back end of his career.
Hate the Chiefs. All right. Biggest hit and miss from this season.
Oh,
your best hot take hit,
my
and
biggest
your worst
whiff?
hot take hit. I want to say, because we got a lot of hate at the beginning of the year when we came out with this hot take. You might know where I'm going.
Okay.
AR-15. We called him a bust
Yeah.
from the rip of the season.
Oh, I think, look, I'm not a quarterback savant,
man.
but I have eyes.
And did we not just hear about it through social media, through what we post?
Yeah.
At work. Oh my gosh. I thought we got
flock we got from
we
it?
got tore up for weeks about that.
Stupid. He's a complete bust.
Now
Now
look
he is
at
working
it.
with Josh Allen's quarterback movement coach now.
I hope he gets better.
Hopefully, because the talent, the ceiling could be through the talent is through the roof.
But-
It could be.
But what we saw, it was like, oh my God.
I got him as a bust still.
100%.
I think he'll be a bust 100%. I think they whiff. Colts are just a desperate franchise.
So to everyone who called us stupid for that take, how does that feel now?
How does that feel now?
All right.
My biggest whiff, I would say, this year, I think, was doubting the Eagles. At one point in the season, I was like, these guys look like they got to fire the coach. These guys look like they got to redo some stuff here. Jalen Hurts, Jalen Hurts had me kind of very misled. I was like, oh my God, this team looks like it's in disarray. My biggest whiff is definitely the Philadelphia Eagles, doubting them, because here they are again, another championship game. Saquon Barkley, 2,000-yard rusher. Jalen Hurts, when it matters most, turning it on and winning games. I must apologize to Philadelphia Eagles. That was a bad take on my end.
My biggest miss, there's two that really get at me.
Okay.
Doubting the Bills preseason. They kind of coincide. So I'll say that just the AFC East.
Okay.
I took the Jets to win the division, which, I mean, there were experts also taking the division. It wasn't crazy at the beginning of the
just
year.
the offseason moves and stuff.
But
I get it.
I said the Bills when it
But if you know ball like me,
Okay, bro. But I said the Bills weren't even going to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
God, I feel stupid.
You and a friend, you both colluded on that one.
Man, happy he's not on anymore. We would have never heard the end of it about the Chiefs.
Oh, no.
Man,
He wouldn't let us live it down.
Shout out to John, though.
Shout out to John.
But yeah, I mean, the Bills, that was definitely my biggest swift.
Yeah. I had a big one, too, with the Browns. I really had high hopes for the Cleveland
Take
Browns.
the division.
But I did, I skated back that second week. The first week, I was like, oh, never mind. I changed to the Ravens. But I did choose the Browns to win the division. I had high hopes for Deshaun Watson, not to return to form, but to be a good starting quarterback in the league again, and that Browns defense to do what it does, and for them to be in playoff football. But I was completely wrong.
My biggest hit, I think, is 1 week away from being the Pod's biggest hit of the season.
Okay.
If the Eagles can get to the Super Bowl,
You have a really good chance of calling that.
I have called that from the beginning.
Yeah, that's crazy. I'd have to give you your props on that one.
Man.
My biggest hit would probably be, I have a couple, man. I think the Sam Darnold and the Vikings one was
great.
Nobody had that train like I had that train. I just felt it. I really believe in Kevin O'Connell. I believe in Sam Darnold's talent, and he got the right coach behind him.
I was going to say, I think that was your biggest hit of the season.
The right coach
for sure.
behind him, and he surprised everybody and played at MVP level. And just really trusting in Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills.
100%.
That less is more.
I think another one of my big hits, when I called the Cowboys not to make the playoffs before the season started.
Yeah. I guess we didn't see the Commanders being as good.
Man.
I could see the Cowboys faltering off. I just didn't see the Commanders being as good where they could jump them this early.
Yeah. Man,
Yeah.
as bad as the Giants are, I feel like the Cowboys are almost the laughing stock of the division.
Yeah, because we know we're in a rebuild. You know you're going to rebuild
Exactly.
the Giants. The Cowboys, you're in a disarray. You've got all these players you got to pay and players you've already paid. It's like it's an enigma that probably will not be solved.
That team's rough. They're in a horrible spot right now.
It must feel bad to be a Dallas Cowboys fan.
Man, how do y'all feel out there, Cowboys fans? Is next year's y'all's year?
Dallas Cowboys fans, is next year the year? This is it, man. It's been another great episode of Fourth and Football Podcast. Follow us on Twitter, TikTok. We're going crazy right now with the views, the likes. Shout out to everybody on TikTok showing love. And subscribe to us on YouTube at Fourth and Football. Man, it's been Jacob.
Wyatt.
Thank y'all for tuning in. Peace out.